Hello, 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 beautiful people of the internet. My name is Whelsko, and I want to talk about another Warzone strategy I have cooked up for you, which is a extremely old one. I think it originates from the Philip II, the father of Alexander the Great, and it's a very simple one, ancient old, proven recipe. It is applicable in Warzone. It works a little bit differently, and it's called the hammer and anvil. And generally speaking, the hammer and anvil is a very, how shall we put it? It's a very simple, basic concept whereby you have two lines of basically good guys and the bad guys. So you have like, where's the most liked area? Okay, so the pinkies are the bad guys, and the greenies are the good guys. So basically, you have two of those fighting each other. And the idea behind the hammer and anvil is that the green guys get some cavalry. And a cavalry, basically when two of those formations are fighting here, only the front line will fight in ancient warfare. And then you basically have like, the rows of 10 dudes behind them, waiting until the guys in front of them are either dead or have to fall back. And the same goes with the pink ones. So basically, just imagine there's like a lot of different people like standing up, that's how those formations work. But basically, you're a little bit stuck in the skirmishes, and while these can go to try to go around and stuff, generally speaking, that won't be as easy as it might seem, because if these guys try to go there, the green guys will try to go there, and what do you end up? Again, still the same skirmish. But the strategy in question, hammer and anvil, it's based on the metaphor that you are having a extremely strong base, being the anvil, and the smithing part, that's the enemies, and then you just mash on top of this with a hammer. Because if there's one thing that is very effective if you are in a skirmish with the pink guys, is that a bunch of cavalry, preferably unseen, but it's kind of hard to notice, because the formation is the group, and the psychology of the group determines who is gonna win for a certain amount. That's gonna be who's gonna win. So that being said, if these guys here are poking the pink guys, and if there's a cavalry charge in the back of it, yeah, that's a dangerous precedent to be in if you're the pink guys, because either you're gonna have to focus your attention to the cavalry, which charge at you, and you can't really stop them, or at least get rid of them. And if you focus your attention on there, the green guys with the normal will poke you in the back, which is also not good. And especially because I think the Greek had like these very long spears, which would make poking somebody in the back a little bit easier from further away. But that's ancient warfare. Now, how is this applicable? So we're going to talk about how this is applicable to Warzone. And this is, of course, one of the best and most prized strategies throughout the course of history. A good old-fashioned cavalry charge in the back. And, of course, this is, Sun Tzu would be extremely proud of the Philip II, because, simply put, the Art of War says you should never fight a fair battle and always try to get people in the back and stuff. So that's always a very positive prospect to look forward to, isn't it? So, that being said, let's take a look at the following clip. So, basically, the best way this will work is either with a Jeep or with a big-ass truck. The Jeep is a little bit faster, but the truck is a little bit more durable, and it's a little bit easier to, how shall we put it, not get shot. However, it's a little bit harder because it, of course, has a little bit less speed, and it's a little bit easier to spot away. But the idea behind this here is that we are going to use a strong base, and we are going to use a hammer and anvil. And basically, we are the green guys. So, here, you see one of our homies is on foot. And he is shooting towards this direction on the minimap. So what do we do? Me and my bro, we go yoink, and we go in the back. And then the beautiful thing about Warzone is, if you're driving with a vehicle, you just touch them and boof, they fall dead. And of course, you can always jump out and shoot. So that's also another possibility. Not necessarily in Hammer and Anvil, because, I mean, you could say it as that. It's a complete ranged option, you know. Melee isn't really viable in an arena full of shooters. And of course, what happens? The two guys that were standing here, the pink guys, it's a little bit hard to see, but out of memory I know it. So these two pink guys are completely pincered by us, the green guys. And if one of my buddies would fail, guess who would swoop in through the side? Yeah boy, that's me. And there we go. Clean as can be. And it's not the best example. And of course, free loot, driving around, keeping cover. That way you always know when one is getting shot, the other ones can back up or back off. And that's a very important thing to have. Other than that, just pick up, you know, drive. It's always lovely to have more of than one vehicle. That was a sentence to say. With simple, other than, because, oh, there's another backup coming. Here, of course, we have spotted somebody that is going for, I don't know exactly what they were doing, but I think they had basic weapons. They came back from the Gulag. And here we will see this at action. So first thing off, we drop off the body. That's important. The other guy follows. So that's important simply because we need a good base to work from. It's the base that is, or at least the strong foundation that is so important. Because if the ping guys just, you know, bop, yeah, then the hammer and anvil doesn't really work that well. Because what are they gonna do? They're gonna turn around and try to shoot you or try to run away from you. The best way is if they are tunnel visioned on one guy and the other guy strikes them in the back. In this case, with a vehicle. The trophy systems are of course important because imagine if they throw something at you or shot something at you. So, that being said, we have a baseline, they're fighting. That's not the best because these guys were split. And of course, here, this is hard to see, but, you know, in game and stuff, it's a little bit here. But here's the dude. This exact cross is the dude. And what is he focusing on? Zoink. Oh, wait, that's wrong color. He's focusing on the teammates that I have. And what do we do with a hammer and anvil? Always go in the back, where they're vulnerable. Because this guy, in case you haven't noticed, he is standing, you know, he has a little bit of cover, like this broken truck is cover. Now, of course, if he was on top of a roof, this strategy wouldn't really work. And because I saw him there, that's why I decided to make a move. Now, his other buddy is focusing me down from here, on this plot. So, in this case, and it's a very hard terrain to work with, this works of course a lot better in open areas and places such as the airfield, airstrip, whatever it's gonna call. So, what do we have? And again, tunnel visioned. Extremely tunnel visioned. What do we do? Well, you already know what to do. And also, this is something with Warzone. A lot of small objects, you can just drive over them if you're going fast enough. And blop! He dead. And then, of course, we jump out in order to make sure the car doesn't get damaged as much. Because the thing is, if you want to do it again in a little bit, yeah, the car is going to get damaged. You know? The more you're in it and the more enemies see it, the more it's getting damaged. Simply because you're invisible on the minimap. And that basically was a very simple strategy whereby we use the hammer and anvil tactic, and it can always work. The whole goal of the strategy is very simple. You take your guys, you let them fight other guys, and one of your guys, or multiple in this case, will go and drive vehicles, or use vehicles, because the vehicles are the cavalry in this case, and go pop them off. You can do this with a chopper, although it's gonna get kind of hard and they're a little bit louder. You can do this with an ATV and the tactical rover, but those aren't really necessarily recommended because, yeah, well, you're way easier to shoot off from. The truck, oof, the truck can do some serious damage. Let's see if we can find one about that. You do not always need to be on your best behavior on your own and need to have a bunch of teammates. You can also use this excellent tactic to third party and get away with the cheeky kills and leave the enemies behind with it. So as you can see here, the airport strip is or the airstrip, I don't know exactly what it's called, is a little bit busy. And of course we are in the middle of the open, so we're a target for everybody to see. Now, again, the beautiful thing about, basically you can also be ranged cavalry, so they're shooting me, and that's what I mean with the truck. I think the jeep would be half HP already, and of course we would have been a little bit lower as well. So, that being said, we will go out to plate, and then of course we can go back in. Now, the thing is though, I already spoiled you, now the zone also kind of works like an anvil. It's a strong backside. The zone, if you play it right, works in your favor. These guys over here have 2 minutes to basically get from, I think it's here to there, which is where I'm at. And that's not good. They have to run away from the zone. Again, as long as you're in the zone, or well, in the place where the zone will hit, then you will have a chance to get annihilated by the zone and the pressure of the enemies. Combine those two together and you basically are fighting 2 battles instead of 1. Well, as long as I'm staying in this little quadrant, these little, I don't know, anti-tank things, and nobody shoots me in the back, I only have to watch them. Now that's if, but generally speaking, I'm only fighting 1 battle, and they are 2. And what happens? They are getting shot. They are getting shot by another enemy team. So what happens? Here is somebody shooting them. They do not have any cover, and this is where this tactic works a lot better. They are shooting back at them. So it's basically a crossfire. And that means they are a little bit more focused on each other than on me. Laying down. I don't know. It might be that they're shooting from across the river though. Although they seem to be getting chopped up pretty badly. Now if they play it, see, look. This is exactly why this strategy is so powerful. Look at this guy. How many meters do you think that is? That's the distance on the map. Less than 20. Maybe 30. I don't know. A little bit weird how this is calculated sometimes. But it's a lot. Now his buddy was smart enough to see me and to start shooting at me. But what is the choice? They have one tactic that they can do, and that's to get on the other side of the little wall. But, you know, or they can throw a C4 because I don't have a trophy system. And that was a smart play of both of them. Now they're still getting shot. Oh yes, here's the guy. Now they're still getting shot from all the way up yonder. And they still have to fight me. Now I can tank the shots in the truck. And luckily not a lot of people are getting C4 anymore. And of course you can just simply go around. This was even a misplay for me. Because, and they are dead. You can't do this. I should have driven them over. Instead. Now this left guy, I should have gone for the left guy over here because he was running completely in the open. So even despite my misplays, you know, like, look at him. Why don't I just go there? I'm such an idiot. I wouldn't say it's an easy kill, because you can definitely outmaneuver a truck if you play it right. But it's definitely a dangerous game. And of course, we just keep driving around. Free loot. And here's another guy trying to cross, who is also gonna have a little bit of trouble. And that's the beautiful thing about the truck. You can be stronger than most. And sometimes you get a little bit lucky and they don't know. They are basically trapped. But, you know, despite me playing it pretty badly, we still managed to dominate the area. Because, I mean, the truck has not been dealt with. And this guy plays it smart against trucks. But the beautiful thing about the unbalanced thing about Warzone, as I get pretty pissed off about, is that you can basically jump out of the truck. See? Here it jumped out. You basically don't see it. Here my buddy jumped out of the truck. Boom. You saw that? I can see his name. But if this was an enemy and I wasn't looking on the minimap, because, I mean, if there's a guy possibly shooting at me, I'm not gonna be as likely to look at the minimap. So, again, that guy didn't see him. Now he does. And what do we create? We both jump out on the right time. And what do we have? A crossfire. Whatever happens, since we are both competent enough to shoot, we are gonna win this fight. He's been hit. My buddy's been hit. Zoink. I'm not even needed. And here we see another guy, and this is what I mentioned earlier. There's a strong baseline here. There's a strong baseline here. There. My mouse thingy. And of course, this feller is over yonder. Ah shit, should have used another color. This feller is over yonder. Now the question that you probably, or what you think will happen, that's the big question. Well, you probably already guessed it. We're gonna use the hammer and anvil tactic, and bang, we're gonna smash him in here. So that's basically all sides covered, whatever happens. And there's no way he's escaping that. And of course, what you do, try to shoot at the driver, which is almost impossible. That's why I turned to left, and we run him over for an easy kill. Now, again, I could probably have had more kills, but in Warzone at least, the whole objective isn't necessarily to be the one that's killing. Because as you could see with those two guys that were fighting the enemy, if I basically stopped there and jumped out, then I would have put myself in a very peculiar position. That wouldn't have been a great idea. These guys, because in the end, the only thing that matters is they all survive. Now, I could definitely have driven over the guy to the left, and I should have definitely done that. But generally speaking, and this guy, if you're with your back against the truck and there's no way to run, boom. That's what happens. Simple as that. But this one, I should have played way better. Wait, this one. You know, I could have driven them over. But then again, the guy, despite being so well focused, did it really well. I mean, look at this. Zoof. If it was a little, technically the mirror of the truck hit him. But if it was a little bit slower, just a tiny bit, he would have been popped. But they jumped, now they focus on me, and they're getting shot. And they're dead. And that's it. That's the hammer and anvil. Because, oh, it actually, oh yeah, oh wow, I didn't even notice that. That's also one of the reasons why you want to check your replays and to learn something in order to get real good at the game and to know exactly what has happened. In this case, I'm going to use my enemies as my allies basically, because they are not going to hurt me. but I might am. So, on the minimap here, we basically have the enemy line, which is here. Very little cover, which is extremely bad in a shooter. Always make sure you have cover. Always. Always. We have here 2 guys that are waiting. I have no clue what my buddy is doing. I don't even think he's helping, but he could be if he had a sniper. We have these guys shooting over. We have the zone pushing in, although that's irrelevant because that's way too far away. So you have basically 2 fronts that you're fighting with a tiny concrete wall. And what do I do? Well, I'm driving around here like a nut job in circles. What do you think is gonna happen? You think they have any chance at all? No, and that's the beautiful thing about the hammer and anvil. You just need a strong base and something that continuously can smash in there. And either the base will kill them, or the smashing will kill them. Either one of the 2, unless they outplay you, which is rarely gonna happen. But that was the hammer and anvil applied into the modern day version of electronic gaming, online arenas, whatever you want to call it. The hammer and anvil strategy, it's a century-old concept. It's been used throughout history for multiple times. And we are here and applying it to Warzone. How lovely and how far humankind has come, don't you think? And so I thank you for watching. My name is Whelsko, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!